You've tuned into The Break Room, a weekly conversation about how the city of St. Augustine works, from those who do the work every day. Hosted by the City of St. Augustine's Communications Manager, Melissa Wissel, The Break Room offers a closer look at the city's programs and provides updates on current and upcoming projects. And now, your host for The Break Room, Melissa Wissel.
Welcome to The Break Room. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Melissa Wissel, Communications Manager for the City of St. Augustine. This week, I would like to welcome back to The Break Room Olivia Smith, Recycling Coordinator for the City of St. Augustine. Olivia joined us several weeks ago talking about recycling, and we just needed to get you back in here, Olivia, because we weren't finished with our conversation.
Always a pleasure to talk trash.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Love talking trash with you. So let's jump right back in. Recycling do's and don'ts. I think for the most part, everybody thinks, oh, it's got that little recycle symbol on it. You throw it in the bin, stick it on the curb. It's kind of like your toilet is not a trash can. Not everything that goes in that recycle bin is really recyclable. Tell us what is and isn't. What are the things we should and shouldn't be doing? And what happens to it when it leaves the street?
Okay, great. So a big slogan in the industry is when in doubt, throw it out.
Okay.
And the reason being is there is a lot of misconceptions, and recycling has changed so much over the past few decades. And so as we try to find homes for these things, right, there has to be an end user and an end product in mind. Okay. So we really like people to focus on the easies. So your cardboard and all your newsprint, junk mail, all of that's great, recyclable material. Your plastics, when I say numbers, it does confuse people. Plastic 1 and 2. Basically, your water bottles, your shampoo bottles, your milk jugs, your laundry detergents. It's a very dense plastic. So it is the highest quality, and it can be made into things like porta potties and toys. And so it is a high grade, and that's what we're looking for. Things like shrink wrap and to-go containers have unfortunately fallen by the wayside in the recycling industry, and that has become garbage. We also see a lot of hazardous things, paint cans, when they think metal. We get everything in the kitchen sink. Right. We want to steer away from that. We want to focus, again, on the simplicity of cans like aluminum, tin, those kind of metal from your soups and your vegetables.
Spaghetti sauce, right?
Mm-hmm. You can do cartons. Milk and orange juice cartons are very easy. And then we still accept glass. It needs to be wine or beer bottles. Okay. There are still a little bit of glass milk jugs out there. But not light bulbs and chandeliers and things of that nature. So we really streamline what material we accept. We have a great flyer called Recycle More on the city's website, on the solid waste page. It's also something that I can email to customers as a PDF. And when you're a new resident or a new business that signs up for a recycling program, I make sure that you get one of those flyers for your staff or the folks in your home.
Right.
Really helps.
The other one that always gets me is egg cartons. Mm-hmm. There's plastic, there's that cardboard kind of stuff, but then there's a few out there that, they go to all this trouble to have organic, cage-free, whatever egg, but then they put it in a styrofoam container. No styrofoam, right?
Right. We've tried styrofoam. It's a niche market, and it has to be densified to properly be recycled. So that's a whole nother segment. But a lot of the grocery stores are taking them back. Again, they have markets strictly to deal with that type of commodity. Okay. Curbside program is not the place for it. If it is a fiber egg carton like you've seen out there or plastic, that is acceptable in our program. Okay. Just steer clear of the styrofoam.
And you get those big styrofoam things that come with stuff in the mail, and you just hate to put it in the trash. You want to do your part, but it's just not good.
Right. We have to work with our limitations on the processing side.
And where it goes from here, that's also something that we as the city, as government, in management, they think about the disposal and where it goes after that. What happens to some of our recycling?
So as you said before, most people put it to the curb, and as long as it's gone, they never think about it again. We have a really proactive community. I have to give kudos to the businesses and the residents. Even the tourists will call from hotels and say, where can I drop this stuff off? Phenomenal. So without them, we wouldn't have these programs. Where our material goes is a place called an MRF, Material Recovery Facility. Okay. Back in the day, it was a manual pick line. It's now become an optical sorter. So that's a fancy word for a 4-tier sorting piece of equipment. Okay. And it can literally, with fans and magnets and blow systems, shakers, it can sort out all of our recyclables. And that's why we bring you what we call single stream. Okay. So you've probably heard it before in the past. You can throw it all in one bin and walk away. The sorting is done at the processing facility We just do still expect you to keep it loose, meaning no tanglers, no bags.
No tangler, right.
Do not put it in bags and try to sort it for us, please. And just a quick rinse. If it's got a lot of mayonnaise and peanut butter residue and stuff, it is going to bring rodents and bugs, and then it's considered contaminated. And you've done all this hard work, and it just ends up in the landfill.
Right.
So,
and there are things where if the batch, if you will, when it gets to that facility, it contaminates it, you lose out on that opportunity to do it right. So it does start at home.
all the way through the stream, that's right. It can be rejected for contamination.
Okay. So we're in coming out of some of this COVID stuff. We're hoping we're going to start seeing some things getting back to normal. We had a survey that had gone out. I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. Mm-hmm. We had a survey that we distribute out to the community input about composting. Did we forget about that? Can help us get back on track with where we might be with that?
Sure. So we have absolutely not forgotten about it. We are wanting to make sure that we have our house in order before we push anything out there to the community. COVID has slowed a lot of things up, as everyone's feeling. So what we want to do is make sure that we look at the collection side of it, the hauling, the processing, any fees that are involved, what type of containers, right? So we have some space restraints. We want to make sure that we're not jumping the gun on something. So we're definitely getting our ducks in a row, but we are very excited to hopefully bring this initiative to the table, not just on the residential end or the commercial, but both. We are looking at both sides of the house. I think we'd have some wonderful participation. We've got wonderful partners in place. So let's hope for that 2021 year, we are going to see some organic composting come online.
And that, I'm sure there's going to be an education phase of that.
That will be a big approach for us. Mm-hmm. The first half of, deploying anything needs to be outreach education. We did it when we took trash to 1 day a week, and we implemented the large recycling bins. I believe we had 6 locations throughout the city and the island where we welcomed the community to come and just Q&A. Let's get down to the nitty gritty, and that way we air the concerns out up front. And try to just get, again, our ducks in a row so that we can have a smooth transition for any program that we bring to the table.
And this isn't to preempt anything. There's nothing that's going to be revealed or unveiled. I want to make sure that any of our listeners are aware. But we want to make sure that folks know we did do the composting survey. There's a lot that will be involved with it.
Yes.
And it's everything from, does that mean it's another bin at my driveway? Or is there a drop location? Or is it... we don't know.
We don't know. A little bit of both.
We don't know.
Right. We're really dialing it in, but the outreach that we received just from that feedback, the data we collected alone was outstanding.
Great.
And it's given us that excitement and that extra push that we need to really move forward. And
the community wants it.
They do.
Great.
So we've just got to work out all the details and to bring them a great program. But we're excited to have something soon, hopefully.
So stay tuned for composting.
Yes.
If you are just now tuning in, you are listening to The Break Room. I'm Melissa Whistle, Communications Manager for the City of St. Augustine, and I'm here with Olivia Smith, Recycling Coordinator, and we're talking trash, recycling, composting. And before we go today, Olivia, let's talk just a little bit, because we are in hurricane season.
Yes.
You all have a lot of responsibilities, and I remarked on a couple of episodes of The Break Room with our other public works staff. Your division and the people that work in public works and in solid waste, you all are part of that first responder that comes out after the storm before anybody else can even come in.
Correct. We are definitely part of that boots on the ground to respond. And the really proud moment, I think, for us is that we can jump into something like a pandemic or a natural disaster, and we try not to make sure that there's any hiccups in any of our regular services. We try to make it so seamless that no one even knows what's going on. Your trash is being picked up as regular. We're still offering, appliance collections or recycling. So it's very far and few times that we see service. But yes, when we have storm season, preparation does come into play. We need to start looking at who's going to be our emergency responders, that our trucks are fueled up, that we have all the PPE that we need, that we're giving outreach through the PR department, through the city's website. If you need to pull carts back, we've had dumpsters float into the inlet. So we've learned, I think as everyone has, we have definitely learned a lot of good tactics.
Securing the equipment.
Yes.
You guys also come out, and you're absolutely right. I remember coming back in after all of the storms. You come back and the first thing you do is you start cleaning up all that mess.
Somebody's got to, right?
And I have been so impressed with the solid waste pickup, the claw trucks, just all of the response of our own staff. We do end up sometimes, I think, bringing in other vendors, contractors.
We always make sure that is in place, but we work side by side with them in order to maintain services and get back to normal. Right. We've got to have all hands on deck. So you're absolutely right. We're focusing on the hotspot areas. We've got trees being moved and the bulk items, anything that's hazard and safety and hazard health concerns. That's going to be our hotspot. That's going to be our ground zero. And then we kind of work zones, just like we do with our sweepers. We focus on zones to get everything cleaned up as fast as possible.
So your teams are so busy at the end of something like a hurricane or a storm when we're getting back to normal. And you've been mentioning too the impacts of pandemic. We are trying to get back to normal. Is there a bit of new normal with some of what's happening down in your department? I know that they added some new teams, some new crews. What does the new normal look like that's new and improved and things we can look forward to seeing?
Absolutely. So we've definitely ramped up our crews when it comes to litter and also pressure washing. Somewhat pre-pandemic, we're a high tourist area, a lot of foot traffic, a lot of businesses. And so we want to focus on our litter patrol. So we right now have 4 full-time people that are designated 24/7. We have a guy that even does the grave shift that empties those cans. And we're not just talking Hippolyta, St. George. They're hitting the city parks. We're calling them in if there's an animal on the road. So they are really those boots on the ground. Like those guys just go at it. So we're very blessed.
Some of that started when we were talking the nightlife initiative. So I know some of that got kind of put on hold, but this is kind of works out that we're picking back up with that initiative. And we've also been able to respond to COVID.
Correct. And you will see this now. It's not something that was a temporary fix.
Okay.
Same thing with pressure washing as we ramp up. Not only during COVID, but also continuing forward, making sure that it's a safe, sanitary place to visit or just come downtown and have a bite to eat. So we definitely have ramped that up, and you will continue to see that.
Good. You guys make us very proud. Olivia, before we go today, we've got some other programs, hopefully, that are going to come back as well. Our recycling days, tell me about those. I can't think of them all off the top of my head.
So residential recycling is either a Thursday or a Friday. Then we also offer commercial recycling for businesses that want to be part of the program. But the other thing we do is we strategically place recycling dumpsters throughout the city. So even as a visitor or a business that has a space restraint, give us a shout down at Solid Waste. We have something that can fit, your need. And then looking forward, we do usually some community outreach. We weren't able to do Earth Day this year, so we're hoping to bring you America's Recycle Day. That is celebrated every November, and so it's a good community, feel-good outreach. With that, we would offer things like electronic recycling and also hopefully paper shredding. But I'd like to remind the folks that you don't have to wait for an event. If you have cooking oil to drop off, if you have electronics and batteries to recycle, give us a shout at Solid Waste or the wastewater treatment plant. Those things are accepted all year. All year, Monday through Friday. You can drop it off at no charge. So there are always those resources out there. And if we don't have a resource for you, we can point you in the right direction. May it be a county or a beach program.
Okay. And surely there's people out there who did have a bit of time on their hands when things are put into a bit of a lockdown, that I'll imagine there's quite a bit of folks out there that are looking forward to getting rid of what they've been cleaning out.
So make that phone call or go on the city's website and research where can this go. Please don't pile it at the curb. You may find green tags that advise you otherwise. So, but we also rent construction dumpsters and things like that. So we dabble in a lot. Of services, and we encourage you, give us a call at Solid Waste. We're happy to have your phone calls and your questions.
All right. Checking in with Olivia Smith again, recycling coordinator for the city of St. Augustine. Thank you again for stopping by. You can check out all that great information about solid waste on the city's website at citysainaug.com. And you can call Solid Waste anytime at 904-825-1049. If you missed part of this broadcast and want to check back and listen in from the beginning, check us out at citysainaugradio.com. As we wrap up another edition of The Break Room, I hope we answered your questions. And if we didn't, go ahead and send us an email at info@citysaintaug.com. We want to keep you informed about what's happening in and around the city, and most importantly, that you hear from the people doing the work and making it happen every day. Remember that in order to stay connected, you need to be connected, not just during hurricane season, but all the time. Like us and follow us on any of our social media platforms. You'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City St. Aug. Thanks for tuning in.
You've been listening to The Break Room, a weekly program about projects and programs offered by the City of St. Augustine. We hope you'll join us each week as host Melissa Whistle and her guests have a conversation that helps you better understand how our city works to meet the needs of our community. See you next time on The Break Room.